Morning, Year 5s. Hope you had a good weekend. Welcome back. We are starting a brand new genre in writing this week, which I'm very excited about because it's one of my favorite genres. And it has to do with this. This is a book called The Thing Explainer, which describes and explains complicated stuff in simple words. So basically, there's some complicated stuff in here like rockets and how phones work, how computers work. And stuff you might already know, like how tectonic plates work, but it explains them only using the 1,000 most common words in English. So it can only use basic language. So here are some that I'd like to show you. This is one of my favorites. This is the rocket one. It says lots of fire comes out here. Really simple language. This end should point toward the ground if you want to go to space. If it starts pointing towards space, you are having a bad problem and you will not go to space today. Or stuff like a cruise ship. Special water for grown-ups to eat. I think that means the bar. Thing that keeps the water out so there isn't a problem. That's obviously the hull, the pusher, the back, the point. Place for flying cars to land, because it can't use the word helicopter. So it uses place for flying cars to land over there on the right. And stuff like this. Tiny bags of water you're made of. I wonder what you can figure out that is about. Everything that's alive is made of tiny bags of water. Some living things are made of just one bag of water. Those things are usually too small to see. Talking about cells. So really interesting how it explains this stuff. And that is basically what we are talking about, Year 5s. Informative writing is about informing, explaining, giving information about stuff. And I love it. For example, this is a book that my dad gave to my brother, and it's called The Way Things Work. This one is a little bit even more complicated than that one, and for some reason has lots of mammoths in it. Not right now, but in the pages that you could have a look at when you come back to school. So for example, it explains how woodwind instruments work, with lots of diagrams and explanations, and explains stuff like thermostats, how your heater knows when to come on and when to turn off, that sort of stuff. So it's got a ton of information and a lot of mammoths. I don't know why there are mammoths. So, and there are a bunch of different informative writing pieces that you can write, Year 5s. You could write about how a watch works, something like those books explain. You could write a travel guide, somewhere like France. You could write a documentary, maybe about ballet, my personal favorite. You could write how an engine works. You could write a news report about a new scientific discovery. All of those types of writing, Year 5, explain and inform, so they give information. So those are the sorts of options that you can write about, and there will be a list of those on the task for you to look at as well. So the first thing you're going to do is pick a topic, but I'll show you the strategy first. Informative writing, da-dum. And as I said, the goal is to explain and inform, to give information. Yeah, one of my favorites. There's going to be 3 steps in the strategy for writing the main paragraphs of your informative writing. So just like in, I'll just type this quickly, in Persuasive, you had the Oreos, they were the main paragraphs. These are the strategies that we're going to show you this week, steps 1, 2, and 3, on how to write the main paragraphs of the informative piece. Step 1 is to ask questions. There'll be step 2 tomorrow, and then step 3 after that. Today's one, though, is ask questions. Now, here's the strategy for it. Make sure you've got this written down. Fact, find, further, flip. F. Fact, find, further, flip. And what that means is, this is a way, it's a strategy to show you how to think of new questions, basically, and also how to think of interesting questions as well. You're going to be able to do that with this strategy. It works like this. You start with a fact. Spiders eat flies. That's your fact. I don't want to go too low in case I show you too much. So start with a fact. Maybe yours is that watches have tiny moving parts, or that in France they eat a lot of fresh produce, something like that. Then you ask a question. Why do spiders eat flies? So that's something where you want to find out more. That's where the find part of the strategy is. Fact, find. Extend the question, which is take it further. What else do spiders eat? So spiders eat flies, and then what else do spiders eat? You take it further. Could find some interesting information that you didn't know before. And then lastly, flip the question. What eats spiders? So that's our fact, find, further, flip. If you're doing the one about France, it might be French people eat a lot of fresh produce. Why do French people eat a lot of fresh produce? What else do French people eat? What eats French people? No, you can't do that. What do surrounding countries eat? Actually, that's probably more further than flip. Maybe the flip could be, what do French people not like to eat in general? So that's your strategy for today's first step, Year 5, which is to ask questions, and it's to help you think of new and interesting questions. Fact, find, further, flip. But you'll see on the topic on Schoolbox, first you need to pick a topic. For example, these things, anything that is informing or explaining, they're your options. And then you're going to start to brainstorm as many questions as you can about that topic. Brainstorm, brainstorm, brainstorm. We want to see tons and tons of questions. Don't worry about getting too many because we're going to thin them out tomorrow. And then you're going to upload your questions to this assignment. And just the last thing I need to tell you, if you want to warm up for practicing questions, in the blog for your class, there will be a question posted there. So for example, in the 5S English page, load. Down here is a blog, research questions, fact, find, further, flip. What questions can you think of for this photo? And the library says, in light of recent events, no Oreos will be allowed in the library. So you should be able to think of a few questions about why that sign has suddenly gone up. So that's it, Year 5. Oops. Let us know in the forum if you have any questions, but looking forward to seeing the topic that you pick and then as many questions as you can brainstorm for it. It's going to be great. All right, thanks, Year 5. Talk to you soon. Bye.